Did it work?
We
Yay!
did it! We
Should
did
we
it. I'm so happy. I don't know what the heck was going on, but you know what? I
yeah,
just disconnected from our Wi-Fi and I was like, that
that
was
was
a
so weird. That was planned technical difficulties, but we got there.
culprit.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you
ATL.
for having
Please
me.
help me welcome Keshi from the H-Town to the A-Town. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you for having me. So
Thank
glad.
you so much. Where are you at right now, actually?
I'm in my home studio in Houston. So this is I'll give you a tour. I give everyone a tour. So this is my just some records on the wall. Let's see. It's my keyboard and got some pedals
Yes.
down there. Got my piano and some microphones and yeah, I got more vinyl. I got my little guitar rack here. The microphone is over here and this is what the
The
console looks like and
setup.
everything. Yeah, everything's set up exactly how I want. I'm wired in. So yeah,
Perfect. I love it. Well, thanks for giving us a tour. We appreciate that.
for sure.
Well, Keshi, you know when I saw.
Graduated from UT.
Oh,
So I
okay.
am a Longhorn all the way.
I love that so much. Okay, well, listen. We're super excited to have you. It's a pleasure to bring you
Yeah,
to the ATL. And thank you so much to everybody that's tuned in. We're about to have some fun.
yeah.
So I kind of want to take it back before we get to today. And well, first of all, I got to congratulate you and give you a huge congrats on Beside You debuting at number 27
Thank
on the
you.
Spotify Global Charts. How
Thank
did that feel to
you.
wake up to that news?
Uh, it's like a dream come true. It's like incredibly validating. It doesn't really feel like anything physical. It's just like I'm just taken aback because like you make music all your life and you just try to convince people to like listen to you for so long, you know? And now it's like a real point where like you get all the attention that you worked hard for. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it feels like. It's validating, yeah.
Super, super awesome. Well, listen, I want to
Hmm.
take it back real quick to 2017
Yeah,
when you started going as Keshi and uploading your music online.
right, right,
Okay, first of all, how did you come about the name Keshi? Because of course, choosing a name,
right.
choosing your stage name is a big deal. So how did it
It
come
is
about?
hard. So I wanted to change up the music that I was making. I didn't know how. I didn't know what I needed. Like what was the magic thing, you know? And then I didn't realize that until later, but I wanted to make an artist. And I didn't really know what that meant. But I guess it starts with like an anonymous SoundCloud account, where I don't tell anybody that I'm making music on there. Like all my friends and family, I didn't want them to know that I was trying out something new. So
Right.
um, I didn't really think that hard about the name. It was something that is my name. My name is Casey.
Okay.
I have a childhood friend, and her family is Japanese, and I would go to her house like all the time, back when I was like in like middle school, and they would pronounce my name as Keshi, Keshi. So that's just where the name came from. So
I
it
love.
wasn't supposed to, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be a stage name or anything. If I intended to make a stage name, I might have chosen something different. But I think that the sort of casual nature of it all was really appealing to me. It was just really fast. I was like, okay, just random username. So yeah.
Definitely. I love that. So I just wonder, did anyone at any point in this journey before you revealed your face, because at first you're like, I'm focusing on the music, I'm building this organic
Right,
fan base, people that just
right,
love me for me. Did anyone
right.
ever put you onto you? And
Wait,
how
wait,
did,
yeah.
did anyone ever put you onto yourself? Like, yo, this new Keshi.
Oh no, yeah. That's actually so funny to think about. The thing is like I wasn't like so anonymous like for a very long time, just for the very beginning stages.
Okay.
So no, it's never gotten to a point where anyone's like recommended my own music to me. That would have been really funny though. Yeah.
So, just in your personal journey during that time, as your peers get to see you evolve, your family sees you evolve, and they're like, "Wow, this is undeniable at this point."
Right.
How did that just boost your? How did that boost your confidence in your pursuit of being an artist? Because obviously that was a huge leap of faith, something that was close to your heart that you're like, "I'm determined to do it anyway." But what
Right.
what did that do for you as far as the reassurance of being like, "Yeah, I'm happy I made this decision."
It's so funny. I feel like when it comes to my friends, like they're definitely on board. You know, they've always been on board, my close ones, and like they know me, they know who I am. Like I see them all the time still, and I think it makes them really happy to like talk to other people, and hear them talk about the artist Keshi, and then they're like, oh, like we're literally like super close friends, and then they don't believe them.
Yes.
My brother actually, my brother actually started med school over in Iowa, and the conversation kind of got shifted onto siblings, I guess. And he was like, "Oh yeah, my brother does music." They're like, "Oh, what's his name?" And he was like, "Oh, it's Keshi." And they like dead ass just did not believe him. Like
Ah,
he had to
super
like go
flex.
through, yeah, he had to go through pictures to find pictures of us that like were portrayed as like sibling pictures. So he found like a vacation photo to like prove it.
I love
Um,
that so much.
yeah, and then on the family side, it's also kind of funny because like some of my uncles and aunties, like I saw them very recently for a crawfish boil actually. So just Houston things. But anyways, like some of them like get it and they're like, oh yeah, like it's amazing what you do, blah blah blah. And then I have another group of uncles and aunties that are like, um, they I guess they can't see like how the scale is right now.
Yeah.
So they'll say certain things like, oh, so like you have a manager, like why, like what does he do that you can't do by yourself? And I was like, I don't think you understand like all the things my manager does for me. He's like so essential in everything I do.
Okay, so I kind of want to touch on that really quickly, right? I
Yeah,
love that in a past interview I heard you say, that you're like, this is a guy, I'm flying out to New York, I'm in the beginning of my artist journey, figuring out the business and your
yeah,
relationship with your manager. At the time, he was somebody who saw something in you and may
yeah,
not have had anything established for himself yet. So how has that
right,
relationship evolved from y'all being like two guys with an idea, or
right.
is she a girl?
Yeah. So
Okay.
like
How did that evolve? Like to from that when y'all are getting it out the mud to now?
yeah. So the funny thing is that like I started Keshi and it started picking up a little bit of traction and then I got an email from somebody that was just like, I want to get on a call. And I was like, well, that's the first time anyone's wanted to like talk to me in person about anything. So he was like, I like what you're building. If there's any way I can help, like I'd love to be involved. And I was like, great. And then he asked me if I would send him some of my demos. And I was like terrified. I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, why on earth would I send a random person the tracks that I was working on? And for the fans in the live, the tracks were, they were the Reaper record. So it was Too Soon, Like I Need You, Swear I'll Never Leave Again, and The Reaper. And I sent him a link on SoundCloud for like 2 hours. I was literally at the hospital, like working on the floor. And
Wow.
I deleted the link like in 2 hours. I was like, yep, that's it. Like that's all he gets to hear. So I didn't want him to like run off with it.
I get
Um,
that. I get that. Yes.
yeah. So then I mean, like a couple months passed by, and then he was like, "Hey, so like, how do you feel about having a manager?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I don't need a manager. I've done everything by myself thus far. Like, why? What are you gonna do for me that I can't do by myself?" And then he said like, "Oh, well, I'll handle like the label calls for you, like when they start calling." And I was like no label's gonna call me. Like, what are you talking about? And then a week later, he called me and I was on the floor again. I was working, and he was like, "Hey, Warner wants to get on a call," and I was like, "What? Like,
Wow.
as in bros, like as in Warner Bros?" And then he was like, "Yeah." So then at that point, I needed a manager. So I was like, "Okay, I guess you could be my manager." And everything was just done entirely over email or over text or over phone. And there's definitely a warming up period.
Yeah.
But like I love him to death. He's like my right hand man. It was so funny because like the first time we met in New York, I'm gonna throw James on blast right here. The first time we met was in New York for our first label meeting for that Warner Brothers meeting actually, and like I stood up as soon as I saw him and I like reached out to like bring it in, and he just stood there and he was just like, "You do know how to like shake hands, right?" And I was just like, "Bro, like what? Yes, I know how to shake a hand, but like whatever." He's silly like
Yeah,
that.
that was
Yeah,
deep. That was
yeah.
deep. Okay, so I love how you said growing up, your parents played a lot of NPR in the house. So you were discovering your love of music through pop culture, TV shows like Drake and Josh. And
Right,
that's
right, right,
cool because I definitely get that. My mom's constantly playing NPR. But
right.
later, as you go and you're hanging out with your grandfather, you see his big fat guitar, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay, how did you really teach yourself how to learn how to play? Did you
right. So,
study online videos or what was going
hmm yeah. So the start was that like I had seen guitars around the house at my grandparents' house, but I never thought to ask him for one. He ended up bringing me one after I did change my mind because I asked my mom for guitar. She was like, no. So I was like, great, I'm gonna ask grandpa.
on?
And so yeah, he brought one to the store one day. My grandparents ran a dry cleaner store, and I just got so attached to it. I glued myself to it for that whole day. And then at the end of the day, he's like, you seem to really like that. Like, why don't you take it home? So I took it home, and from then on, it was just like for the past 14 years, I have been in a wormhole of looking up cool things about guitars and learning how to better myself and learning how to like, learning new chords and everything. I've just been sucked into ever since.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
some people may not know that you were a nurse at a med center in Houston, working
Right.
12-hour shifts, 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And
Terrible.
how did it truly feel, if you can remember? Because sometimes it's hard for us to like be like, I was really going through it at that time. So
Yo, I know. Trust me, I
working under
know.
that pressure, which already requires so much focus and attention, plus music, which requires,
Right.
the same kind of passion and attention.
Right.
Did that affect the music that you were making at that time?
Of course. At the time, yeah, absolutely. I was very stressed. I'm still incredibly stressed, but it's a
Yeah.
different kind of stress. But it was the kind of stress that was just like, wow, my life is, I live two different lives right now. It's like really weird. I don't know how to balance it. And as much as I'd like to admit that it didn't phase me, of course it did. It tore me in two.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the strangest thing is that I have friends who are still nurses, bless their hearts, because they really, work their asses off this
Right.
past like year and a half. Um, and I was talking to him over dinner. This was literally like a week ago, and he was quizzing me for fun, like just like about like, certain drugs, like what we used to hang, like what was
Right.
the process and stuff like that. And like I couldn't remember like things that are so basic and like essential to like the work, and I was like so blown away because I was like, wow, it feels like ages ago, but it was only like 2 years ago. But I
Wow.
I couldn't remember like what the heart monitor was called. Like the one that like scribbles the
Yes.
waves. It's called an EKG. I like how did I forget? Like I don't understand how it's crazy how my mind has just been emptied and replaced with completely new things. We're thinking about
Wow.
like merch, tour, promo, album, like
Yeah.
music videos, concepts, ideas. Like it's a completely different world now.
Definitely. So, as you look back on that, how do you think that your journey in medicine helped prepare you for everything
Right,
to function as an artist and a brand? How did that?
right. It didn't really prepare me so much as like I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about myself um, during my work as a nurse, and I definitely grew as a person. I gained a lot of perspective. I realized that we are so inherently similar, like physically and biologically, but at the same time, like we can be so different as a person. And everybody's complex and unique, and they have a life just as deep as yours. And you learn to have respect for tons of different kinds of people, and you hope that they have the same for you. And the thing is, the transactions are not always equal. They're not. And it was a rude awakening. I have to be
Mm,
frank. Like you dole out all of your energy to help somebody, and sometimes they're not always like receptive to it.
yeah.
And that's kind of how life is. And yeah, I definitely learned a lot. you know
I love that. I love that.
yeah,
It's true. It's deep.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
what advice could you share to a person that might find themselves in a similar situation where
Hmm.
have that leap of faith that is like that haunting? What do you say to
Yeah.
that person? Because I guess ultimately it's still your choice. You could never convince
Right,
anybody of that. But what would you say to
right.
that person that needs a nudge?
I would say I don't want to irresponsibly like because my
Everyone's about
situation
to
was
quit their job.
no, my situation was very like very unique, and I was very lucky. I'm still very lucky. But the thing that I told myself back when things were taking off and I needed to take that leap, I left very late too, very, very late. But I'd say that like it doesn't have to be a permanent thing. Like you can take a chance, set yourself a safety net so that you can take a chance for however long you need to like make that investment grow. Um, so I was fortunate enough that I didn't really have to worry so much if things fell through. But I did have something established. I was just like, okay, great. I'm gonna try this for a year. I'm gonna give myself a year. If it doesn't work out, at least I tried,
I love
and
that.
that's the
Great
mentality
advice,
I
and
had to
that's
have.
real advice.
Yeah, no, for real, yeah. No,
Okay,
like
so
chase your dreams.
yeah, yeah, you're like,
Yeah,
you guys, you do have to have a plan.
yeah, yeah. Have a plan, yeah, for sure.
You're definitely multi-talented. You not only play multiple instruments, but you're a songwriter as well, which is a whole different craft in itself. And I love
Right,
credit your love and your passion of discovering your love for artistry through artists like John Mayer and such.
right,
So when
right,
it came to expanding that stripped down acoustic sound to now these fully produced songs that you have, lyrics
right.
included,
Right.
What steps did you take in your artist journey to like really take it to the next level?
It was that's a really interesting question. It was a combination of a ton of different things because we talk about like two different things. We talk about production and then we talk about artistry.
Right.
Because production is like a tool, it's like a paintbrush, right, that you use. But artistry is like intentful. Like you're trying to convince somebody, you know? You're trying to like go beyond yourself, which is like weird to say, but like that's why I love
Mm.
kind of where Keshi resides right now, where he is like my artist, and that's kind of how I see it.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So yeah, in order to take it to the next level, I mean, I think establishing my idea of Keshi, which is inherently just like a part of me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I think establishing that first and foremost was sort of the next step. And visuals definitely helped play a part in convincing myself too.
Mm.
Um,
I have to
and
say,
from
I
mhm.
love the acoustic live video. I'm like, I'm putting it in front of my mom,
Thank
and
you.
she was like, he's smooth. I'm like, I know, he got a whole lot of
Thank
soul.
you. Thank you. We were so stoked about that one. If we could talk about that a little bit actually.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It
Um,
looks so great.
Thank you. I feel like so the first thing is that all of my live videos are actually done live. Like I
Okay.
really like enjoy watching the videos where like someone's actually performing and it's not like a studio recording on top
Yes.
of it because sometimes it's really obvious and you're like I'm here to like see you, you know.
Yeah.
And then the second task is like trying to ensure that the audio is like pristine and like people really want like that like really great audio quality. They go through like such lengths and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but my visual director and I were talking about like where we were gonna film it. We found a location, and we were gonna film it indoors. But then he was like, "Dude, you gotta check out the roof." I'm like, okay, let's check out the roof. So we both go up there, and the sun was setting, and God, it was so loud. It was so loud. You could hear all the cars and everything. That was filmed in Austin, by the way. So a lot of people think it was
Okay.
Houston, but it was Austin.
Coolest
And
city.
it was you could hear all the cars, you could hear people screaming and everything. And I had my mic set up, and this microphone captures everything. And I was about to be like, no, I mean, it's not going to sound good. But then I was like, wait, if I get close enough to the microphone, when I sing, you can hear my voice, but you might be able to hear some of the cars like in the parts where I'm not singing. But I was like, that's kind of the vibe. Like
Yeah.
everyone tries to make it so perfect, but like, am I trying to deny the fact that I'm like actually outside right now? Like, no, like I'm actually outside. So like, let's
Your
throw it
vocals
in.
did sound amazing. Like that made
Thank
it
you.
that made me love the song even more. You know, because I'm like, oh,
Thank
I
you.
really hear him. You know, and
Right.
it's just
Yeah, for
in
sure.
your, your
In the
artist element,
zone.
it's hard.
Yeah. We
So
had
good.
a ton of technical difficulties though, and we filmed like 3 or 4 takes of that, and we ended up rolling with the first one. Um, and the funny thing
We
is
like
that like
that.
yeah, right when I started singing, like there was a girl who was like screaming drunk like down on the street, and it makes its way into the recording. But I was like, whatever, let's just keep it
Let's
in.
keep it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it so much.
Um.
So I know that you are, of course, a Texas native from H-Town, but being that you
Right.
are of Vietnamese descent and you're rising globally, and there's so many new people coming into your pictures as fans, how has it been
Right.
to see the reception from your fans from Asia?
Oh my God, it's been amazing. It's been
Yeah.
so it's been so crazy and validating. I say that word a lot, but like that's partially to do with the fact that I didn't a lot of people told me that it wasn't gonna work out. Like back when I first started and everything. So like everything coming in now is like so incredible to me. And the fact that the music I make in this little room of mine like makes its way across the ocean and like to all different parts of the world is just like
Yes.
incredible. I'm acting like the internet doesn't exist, but like yeah, like you get my point. Like it's
Heck
just like
yeah.
it's
I mean,
crazy.
especially today to see that you are charting at the top of the Spotify chart. So that's just like a testament to
Right,
exactly what you just said. Congrats on that again, man. Okay, so let's talk about
right.
this debut album
Thank
that's
you.
coming. Are we allowed to know a name? Is it going to be self-entitled? What you thinking?
I teased the name a little bit
Okay.
on TikTok, but I'm not sold on it, so I'll refrain from talking about it. I'm not sh
Okay.
I'm not sure like exactly when we're gonna establish a solid date, but we do have an area in mind. I will save that for when we're a little bit more solid on it. All I
Okay.
can say is that I'm working very hard on it. I'm making a lot of progress on it. I was very anxious starting out. I was very paralyzed.
Yeah.
But it's the progress has been so good, like the past couple of months, and I'm stoked to show it. I just don't want to spoil anything quite yet,
Sure,
you know?
sure. Can
Yeah.
we talk a little bit maybe about the just the themes that are going to be a part of it, or the colors, the feels? Because right now you're
Right.
collaborating with some more producers, and I've heard you say in the past, like, it's not the easiest to just collab with people because when you're in your own world as an artist in your bubble,
Yeah.
you protect it. And so, how has that
Yeah,
been like coming
absolutely.
out of your shell and working with people more closely?
Right.
And like, what are your hopes after this album comes out? Like, what do you want that bonding experience to be with your fans?
Right.
And just the way it will catapult you in your artist journey.
Right. The album sounds definitely heavier than the music has in the past. It's like a bit of a darker direction than the mellow stuff that I've made, and the energy is different. I'm stoked to have people hear it and to play it live, honestly.
Yay!
And in terms of collaboration, I've found one producer who I'm just in love with. So shout out to Ely because you're like my production soulmate. I'm never gonna let you
I
go
love that.
ever. Yeah, we're tied for life. Um, so yeah, we're just very compatible in terms of like where we go musically. The chords that we kind of lean towards is the same, the melodies are the same, and he's just a nasty producer. He just like makes everything sound amazing.
Yeah.
So I've been working with him for every track on the record. So like that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a key person so that it's not like so all over the place. Like it's
Yes,
consistent, but I still have another person's set of ears to help me figure out like where I want to go.
definitely.
Um, and the nice thing is that we both work out of the same software. So like when I want to switch into producer mode, I can have him get out of the chair and then like I'll go in there, or we'll play vice
Yeah,
versa and stuff like that. So that's
that.
been great. In terms of themes and visuals, we're working on that right now. And like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but it'll be
Okay.
really cool.
Well, we are definitely looking forward to it. And I just share with us some of the things that you have as the world is opening back up and more of us are getting vaccinated and things like that. Like,
Yeah,
what are you excited to just hit the ground running as soon as things are quote back to normal and you're touring and things like that?
of course, I'm so stoked to tour. That's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most. I feel like I've had so much growth the past like year, like in quarantine, that it doesn't feel like tangible. Like I haven't seen it with my own eyes yet.
Yeah,
Like you have to go to the shows to like kind of feel it, or you have to even go outside. But like you don't really
yeah.
we haven't really been doing that. But I'm fully vaccinated now. Like I can go outside
Me
and like
too.
not be too. Yeah, nice. We can go and hang. Um, so yeah, I'm just stoked to see the fans again. I just want to go. I
Absolutely.
just want to
Well,
leave.
please come to ATL and visit us because I want to be at the show.
Of course, we will get you in. Absolutely. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You have been so cool, so sweet, such an awesome spirit,
Thank
so
you.
much fun to talk to. So, ATL, please make sure you check out Keshi's dope new song that just continues to climb beside you. We're excited to see more. And please come see us in ATL for real. You were awesome.
Of course. Thank you. Can't wait to
Thanks,
see you.
Keshi.
Bye.
Bye.